remember sitting on the edge of the bed that night, the room dim except for the yellow streetlight filtering through the curtains. I stared at the note in my hand, reading it over and over, hoping that with each read the words would change or that I had misunderstood them. But they stayed the same, short, cold, and final. There was no apology, no explanation, just a simple truth. She had left, and she had left with him. I didn't cry that night. It was like my emotions had frozen. I just sat there, numb, trying to convince myself it was some kind of nightmare that would pass. But every corner of the apartment reminded me it was real. Her perfume still lingered in the air. Her books were gone from the shelf. A photo of our wedding day still sat on the bedside table, her smile bright, her eyes full of promises I thought were real. The next morning, I called his number. It rang, but he didn't answer. I tried again later. Nothing. A message finally came through, only 4 words. I'm sorry. It happened. That was it. After years of friendship, after growing up together, after standing beside me as I got married, that was all he had to say. I stared at those words, my hands trembling with anger. I wanted to scream, to go find him, to ask him why. But what was the point? The damage was done. The trust was shattered. I stopped going out for a while. I took time off work, telling my boss I wasn't feeling well. It wasn't a lie. I wasn't okay. I barely ate, barely spoke to anyone. My mother came by once and found me sitting in the dark. She didn't say anything at first. She just sat beside me and held my hand. Eventually, she said, "You can't change what they did, but you can choose how you live from this moment on." I didn't respond, but those words stayed with me. The days were long and quiet. Sometimes I would find myself talking to her out loud, asking the empty room why she left. I wanted to believe that there was some reason, some confusion in her heart, something she was running from. But with time, I began to accept that maybe it wasn't about me at all. Maybe she was never really in love. Maybe he had been in her heart all along and I had just been in the way. I deleted their numbers eventually. I couldn't keep holding on to something that only brought pain. I packed away our wedding photos, took down the framed memories from the wall, and placed them in a box I didn't know what to do with. I couldn't throw them away, but I also couldn't keep seeing them every day. One afternoon, I forced myself to take a walk in the park near our old favorite coffee shop, the same place where we used to sit and talk for hours. I sat on a bench and watched people go by, laughing, holding hands, living. For a long time, I just watched. Then, slowly, I started to breathe again. Not just physically, but emotionally. I started to feel something besides the ache in my chest. It took months, but I began to rebuild. I joined a gym. I read books that had nothing to do with love or heartbreak. I reconnected with people I had pushed away during the worst moments. I realized that not everyone leaves. Not everyone betrays.